Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulullah. We'll continue reading from Imam Ghazali's Jawahir al-Qur'an wa Durr, because we are reading from the second section now. The pearls different from the jewels in the sense of the first one is about knowledge and the second one is about practice. Though one cannot really separate the practice also from from faith, knowledge, and practice. In the last session, we have commented at the very end on verse 62 of Surah Al-Baqarah, the in-between the selections goes 40 to 45, and then before we reach 74, there are a couple of verses that I wanted to utilize the opportunity and speak about them. And one of them, of course, is the إن الذين آمنوا الذين هادوا والنصارى والصابئين من آمن بالله واليوم الآخر وعمل صالحا فلهم أجرهم عند ربهم ولا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Indeed, the believers, Jews, Christians, Sabians, whoever truly believes in Allah and the last day and does good will have their reward with their Lord, and there will be no fear for them, nor will they grieve. I said that the one that needs to bring to the foreground at least another two verses that are related, so that people might not think that it's okay to not to believe in Islam. Verse 19 of Surah Al-Imran, the third surah, إن الدين عند الله الإسلام. Verily, religion is in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Islam. وما اختلف الذين أوتوا الكتاب إلا من بعد ما جاءهم العلم بغيا بينهم ومن يكفر بآيات الله فإن الله سريع الحساب. The people of the book differed after knowledge reached them. So they have erred, they have made a grave mistake, an injustice, transgressing, and there is a warning: وَمَن يَكْفُرْ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ. Whoever disbelieves, whoever rejects, denies the truth of these signs, the revealed also signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the verses from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, verily Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold them accountable quickly. There's another yet verse from the same surah, from Al-Imran, and this verse is so the first verse that we have read is number 19 in Al-Imran, and this one is verse 85. ومن يبتغي غير الإسلام دينا فلا يقبل منه وهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين. And whoever seeks other than Islam as a religion, it will not accept it of him, of her, of course. وهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين, and in the hereafter he's going to be amongst the losers. No paradise, and if there is no paradise for them, then it's hellfire. This does not nullify the possibility of convivencia in this world. This does not nullify the good neighborly relations, as long as there's no war involved. This is something that we have experienced through and through over the ages with the people of the book, both Jews and Christians, except those Uh, so the Crusaders are not the same as uh, the Christians, the indigenous, Palestinian. I'm talking from a Palestinian perspective because that's my experience. So it's not the same, and I can say wholeheartedly that my mother breastfed our Christian neighbor when I was breastfeeding, and uh, she, her name is Lamis. Lamis and I are literally in Islamic law sister and brother. A very beautiful relationship uh, uh, based on milk rather than a blood relation, as they call it in English. In Arabic, we don't. Of course, it is a blood relation, but we often use the rahim, the derived from mercy, the womb. We are related together as siblings to the womb, except when it is breastfeeding only, as in the case I have just mentioned. So the insistence on accepting Islam does not really preclude the possibility of living peacefully together. And if we mentioned, living peacefully together, there are three words that are related together. One is a prerequisite for the next: truth, uh, and as a prerequisite for justice, and justice is a prerequisite uh, for peace. And one can see that almost uh, all politicians and those who circulate around them, they speak about security without contextualization, without speaking about justice, without addressing the root causes of problems. The next verse before we reach 74 is about violating the Shabbat. I'm skipping one verse in between. ولقد علمتم الذين اعتدوا منكم في السبت فقلنا لهم كونوا قردة خاسئين فجعلناها نكالا لما بين يديها وما خلفها وموعظة المتقين. This is about violating the Shabbat. Those who did, in the Quran, you are already aware of those of you who broke the Shabbat. They violated the sanctity of the Shabbat. We said to them, be disgraced apes. Be disgraced apes. So we made their fate an example to present and future generations, and a lesson to the God-fearing. The first thing is that this was a punishment, making them apes. Of course, there are those who say this is a metaphorical issue, but I will explain in a minute. First of all, disgraced apes, just like monkeys, apes. It's a punishment for those who violated the Shabbat, which is a very important aspect that people skip when they speak about this notion. It's upholding the Shabbat. Of course, this was um, between the different religions, if you will. لكل منكم جعلنا شرعة ومنهاجا. The law differed, not in total, but the law is different. And the fact that we have differences in the law, this is, divine will. There should be no equivalent in theology and faith. the nature of God does not change. The fact that nothing is like unto him does not change. The fact that uh, the any anthropomorphic verse should be interpreted metaphorically, that should not change. That a creation, any attribute of the creation does not apply to God, is not limited but by what he created, including space and time. One can speak about this at length. So faith is one thing, the law is another. Um, in fact, they were prohibited against really uh, doing business, working during the Sabbath. For Muslims, it is not the whole day of Friday. During the actual Friday prayer, it is prohibited to do business. It doesn't mean that a firefighter station should be manned, if you will. Emergency rooms at hospitals, of course, the all uh, the all the functions within a hospital that should be where staff should be present even during the Friday prayer. One might say a solution to this would be to alternate between those who, if they were selected to serve on this Friday, they might uh, alternate with someone else in the following Friday, etc. But to sell ice cream during Friday prayer, that's not a vital role. Unlike policemen, unlike border guards, unlike physicians and medical staff in emergency rooms and hospitals, etc. So, so this is upholding the sanctity of the Sabbath, and the punishment for them was to be disgraced apes. Now, is it metaphorical or real? The next verse says فَجَعَلْنَاهَا. So in the first verse, it speaks about it uses the narrative is about a masculine group. اعتدوا. There's no. It's different from فَجَعَلْنَاهَا, which is feminine. Yeah, because that's what apes are in Arabic. Qirada, that's you talk about feminine versus the masculine narrative in the verse, which indicates that the punishment was real, not metaphorical. Scholars said that it was only that group, and they did not procreate. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a'la wa alam, because the second verse says that it's a sign, a lesson also for future generations. It is that particular event, or that they also survived. At any rate, let's not forget that it's about the upholding the Sabbath at the time. The story of Prophet Moses, peace upon him, asking his followers to offer to slaughter, to offer a cow, really, to sacrifice a cow. It was really the language, the narratives, any cow, someone was killed, and in order to know who killed this person, Prophet Moses, of course, it was revealed to him that to find the killer, they need to sacrifice a cow, any cow in that first command, and to strike the victim, the deceased person, with part of who was killed, with part of that cow. And when this was done, the victim spoke miraculously and said who the killer was. Of course, the reaction of his followers was not submitting in a beautiful way. They objected. They replied, "Are you mocking us? This is the Prophet of God." So Moses responded by that he seeks refuge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from acting foolishly. Then they started asking about the nature of this. Again, at the beginning, it was simply any cow, and they started asking for more details. And it was revealed that this cow should neither be old nor young, somewhere in between. They asked about the color. The Arabic of the Qur'an, صفراء فاقع لونها, that's the color. تسر الناظرين, should be a bright yellow cow, pleasant to see. Yellow doesn't mean that yellow like bright yellow. There are it could be understood as kind of red, but and there is a reason why I'm saying this. At any rate, the last question, they asked for more information, and he said, Musa alayhi salam, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it should have been used neither to till the soil nor water the fields. It didn't work really. Wholesome and without blemish. And now they said that you came with the truth. Nowadays, there's a story about the red heifer, which if burned, its ashes will be used to cleanse the children of Israel, the Jews who have been in touch with the dead, etc. And this, from their perspective, would prepare them to go to Al-Aqsa Mosque, to be in all of the place. This is a long story, but this is why this particular story is important. Without blemish. And they say that there should be a solid color, like if you say red. And of course, it's not red like. There are also no red, in as much as people are not black, and as much as people are not white. Like, for example, if you pick up an A4, there are no people who are white like this. Or a black page, there are no people like this. So there's a certain degree things would be included in safra, or no blemish, etc. And it means also that one could only expect problems ahead of us in terms of the challenges that face Al-Aqsa Mosque. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect Al-Aqsa Mosque, to protect the worshippers, and to protect the life of all the innocent people around the world, really, Muslim and non-Muslim. When one sees a genocide, the care for humanity should be genuine. The failure of the international community is heartbreaking, really. And then they did offer the uh, they killed they offered the cow, and they hit the deceased person with part of it, and he came to life and said whatever, who basically killed him. Thereafter, and this is now 74 and 75, which also were selected by Imam Al-Ghazali as durar, as pearls. Uh, thereafter, thereafter, even then your hearts became hardened like a rock, or even harder. Even then, thereafter, after this event, they have witnessed a miracle unfolding before their eyes. Someone was revived, quickened from the dead, uh, to testify about the who was the killer. And it's not the first time for them, for those people to forget quickly about the miracles that unfolded before their eyes, like being saved, crossing the sea with Prophet Moses, peace upon him, and within a very short period, they asked him to make for them a statue, an idol, to worship, the way they saw other people having idols, statues. Quickly, they forgot the miracle that they have just been blessed with, saved. And here, their hearts became hardened, they're like a rock, or even harder. ثم قست قلوبكم من بعد ذلك فهي كالحجارة وأشد قسوة وإن من الحجارة لما يتفجر منه الأنهار. In fact, some rocks gush rivers. It means like from a solid bedrock, you'll have a river gushing out. I have seen personally in such a river in Bosnia. There's a small cottage for Sufis, but next to it, a very wide river, deep gushes from the beneath the mountain. So it really and very powerful, literally. But their hearts don't. So for some rocks gush rivers, others split, spilling water, while others are humbled in awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah is never unaware of what you do. Do you now, verse 75, because we said 74 and 75, do you believers still expect them to be true to you? Though a group of them would hear the word of God, then knowingly corrupt it after understanding it. أفتطمعون أن يؤمنوا لكم وقد كان فريق منهم يسمعون كلام الله ثم يحرفونه من بعد ما عقلوه وهم يعلمون. They might pay lip service and say, when they meet the faithful, the community of the believers, when they meet the believers, they say, we believe. That's simply lip service. But in private, they say to each other, will you disclose to the believers the knowledge Allah has revealed to you, so that they may use it against you before your Lord? Do you not understand? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of what they say, what they intend really. It's because what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to them, we have, for example, in Deuteronomy, the prophecy about the future prophet who will be like from amongst their brethren, so that will be from the lineage of Ismail alayhi salam, like unto thee Moses, Christians understand this as a reference to future, the coming of Jesus Christ, peace upon him. We love Jesus Christ, peace upon him, but it's not about Jesus, because if you look at the who is like Prophet Moses, is it Jesus Christ or Prophet Muhammad, we can have a very quick comparison, a list, if you will. For example, Prophet Moses had a normal birth. The same thing applies to Prophet Muhammad, peace upon them all, and Jesus Christ, peace upon him. His birth was miraculous in the sense of there was no father involved, no male figure in the Quran in the life of Mary, as because they have Joseph. This is not Joseph, son of Jacob. That's her fiancé, if you will. There's no such a figure in the Quran. Prophet Moses, peace upon him, died normally. Same thing applies to Prophet Muhammad, peace upon them all. Jesus Christ, peace upon him, was raised from amongst his followers. Prophet Moses was a prophet and a messenger, of course, and a community leader, a political leader. Same thing applies to Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him. Jesus Christ, peace upon him, said, "My kingdom is not from this world." Another aspect is that Prophet Moses got married, and Prophet Muhammad also the same, and Jesus Christ is not known to have gotten married. So there's a long list of that proves that Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, is the one who would fulfill the prophecy. He is the one who is like Prophet Moses, peace upon him. This is why also the prototype prophet in the Quran, people might be surprised, is Prophet Moses himself. He's mentioned in the Quran 136 times by name, and many other times by indirect references. The verses would be within a certain context. It would mention Prophet Moses, and there will be many verses about him. So 136 times his name was mentioned, while Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, was mentioned only 5 times in the Quran, 4 as Muhammad and once as Ahmad. So whether if they hide the information, people know where to find them. Muslim scholars do read the scripture, of the people of the book. They decipher their theologies. Yes. So with this, we conclude this session. Inshallah, in the next one, we will start with Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 83, still about the children of Israel, about the covenant with the children of Israel. And we'll see that the content is really universal. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.